stand over here, okay?
I don't have to. Canada is my safe zone, sir.
Sir, I understand that, okay?
But you're violating
your
my
presence
charter
in that
rights.
group was inciting the potential for
I
violence.
haven't incited anything. They have.
Your presence alone.
And you have obeyed them.
So again, here's where I want you to stand, okay?
I know you want me to stand here, but you're not the law.
Well, I am the law.
No, you're not the law, sir.
So,
you're a
there.
servant of the law.
There
You
you
are
go.
not the law.
So you're refusing to leave?
I'm refusing to leave.
Why?
Because I'm a Jew, I'm a citizen, and I'm your boss. And I don't leave if you say Jews aren't
Well, you know
allowed on
what?
the street.
In the interest of keeping peace here and public safety, you're under arrest for breach of the peace. Take a minute.
Every Torontonian who's disgusted by this crime wave is his boss. I'm a citizen, I'm a taxpayer, I'm not a foreign provocateur like these Hamas thugs, and this is not the end of the story for me, this is actually the beginning.
Hey, Ezra, how you doing there?
David, thanks very much for coming to get me. And I appreciate everybody who's gathered here, and it's great to see the truck here. I just got out of this police station. I was in the jail cell. I was a small cell, about 5 feet by 7 feet. And I was searched, and all my belongings were taken from me, including my watch and my phone. So I sort of lost track of time a little bit, but fortunately I wasn't detained too long. I was arrested, not for causing a crime, not for anything in the criminal code, in fact. I was arrested because Officer McDuff, who has presided over that monstrosity every week in the Jewish neighborhood of Bathurst and Shepherd, he has acted as the concierge for pro-Hamas bigots, propagandists, threateners. He has turned a blind eye to actual crimes committed by those Hamas thugs, and he has over-policed and abused the Jewish community. Today was particularly odious. They had recreated the scene of the Hamas terrorist Yahya Sinwar in his final moments where he was finally killed by the Israeli army. They recreated that scene of Sinwar in the heart of the Jewish community. There's Holocaust survivors there. There's synagogues and schools. That would be tantamount to burning, the KKK burning a cross outside a black church.
100%.
And the Toronto police and their grotesque chief of police, Myron Demkew, and the anti-Semitic mayor, Olivia Chow, and Officer McDuff, who's the on-the-ground thug, abide that, not just abide it, protect it, block it. I was there by myself. I just went there with my cell phone, and I wanted to film this absolutely appalling artifact. It was like a Christmas. You might put up Halloween decorations or Christmas decorations. These foreign thugs, and they're foreign nationals, they should be arrested, prosecuted, and deported immediately. But instead, they're treated as preferred citizens by the Toronto police. They had this grotesque presentation on the streets of the Jewish neighborhood, and I wasn't going to protest it. I wasn't going to dispose of it. I was going to film it and photograph it, and the police wouldn't let me do that.
And Ezra, if I may, Ezra is not exaggerating. Efren was on scene to capture the takedown. Check it out.
Stay back. You set the rules. Instead of the Canadian Charter of Rights, which you're not asking the question. You know you're disgraced. I think you're a coward also.
You can have your opinion.
You'll do what they say
stand over
because
here.
it's the path of least resistance.
No, I'm trying to keep the peace.
No, you're not. If you were trying to keep the police,
if anybody
you would
wants to
crack down on the thugs.
If you want to
You're
be in
doing
there,
their bidding.
just stand over here, okay?
I don't have to. Canada is my safe zone, sir.
Sir, I understand that, okay?
But you're violating
your
my
presence
charter
in that
rights.
group was inciting the potential for
I
violence.
haven't incited anything. They have.
Your presence alone.
And you have obeyed them.
So again, here's where I want you to stand, okay?
I know you want me to stand here, but you're not the
we go.
law.
Well, I am the law.
No, you're not the law,
Yeah,
sir.
so-
You're a
there.
servant of the law.
There
You
you
are
go.
not the law.
Because you're inciting this crowd and then it breaches the peace.
As I said to you,
Well,
your
your
presence
presence is
alone.
inciting them, and that's
I'm a
exactly
Jew.
what you're trying to
Because
do.
I'm a Jew.
No, because you're trying to incite them.
I haven't tried to
So-
incite them. I went to take a picture of the hate crime that
You could
you're
have done it on
abiding.
the other side. You didn't need to walk.
could've
So you're
crossing the
refusing
road.
to leave?
I'm refusing to leave.
Why?
Because I'm a Jew, I'm a citizen, and I'm your boss. And I don't leave if you say Jews aren't
Well, you know
allowed on
what?
the street.
In the interest of keeping peace here and public safety, you're under arrest for breach of the peace. Take a minute.
Good. Take this. I'm being arrested because I'm standing on the sidewalk in my city. I'm a Jew who lives in this neighborhood, and I'm being arrested because the police say that's the path of least resistance.
So there you go. You were just trying to film it, as you were saying, Ezra, and then what happened?
Well, then they sort of pushed me away, and I said, "Why are you doing that? You don't have the right to do that. I'm not breaking any law." And he and one car just pushed me because, of course, the path of least resistance. You've got 20 wild foreign thugs who show, many of them masked, many of them who commit a steady stream of low-level violence, uttering threats, assault, mischief, trespass, vandalism. Cops are all fine with that, but the one Jew. I live in that neighborhood. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a resident. I'm a citizen, but I was the path of least resistance, so they pushed me away. I didn't like that much. But then comes Officer McDuff, and I said, how can you abide that atrocious thing? And he said,
And what did he say?
He said, you stand over there in the media area. And I was talking to a bunch of cops. He said, you are causing a disturbance. I said, I'm not causing any disturbance. I'm not even talking really. I'm just filming. He said, you being here is causing a disturbance in them. I said, well, that gives them a veto over my charter rights. He said, you leave now. Go to the free speech zone down there now, or I'll arrest you for disturbance. I said, do your worst. And he did.
And Ezra, if I may, what this is reminiscent to me is the dark old days of sexual assault and rape cases, when you'd have the victim on the stand and the questions would be along the lines of, how much cleavage were you showing? How much leg were you showing? You see, you instigated him to act out that way. It's just a variation of that when you, simply filming something on a public sidewalk, are called an instigator.
Officer McDuff is a bit of a coward, and here's what I mean by that. He could enforce the law. He could clear a path on the sidewalk. He could stop people from assaulting passersby like me, but that's hard. And the Hamas side, they push all the woke buttons in Toronto police. So it's easier for Officer McDuff to arrest one peaceful citizen rather than to get all the Hamas excitables excited. But that's not the law. The law is not take the easiest way out. Because if that were the law, then I would show up with 100 ruffians on my side. And would he obey me? Because that's not policing.
Yeah.
That's not keeping the peace. I didn't do anything to disturb the peace. I was standing on a public sidewalk. If Officer McDuff is saying that because a bunch of people were threatening violence, he's taking it out on my rights, doesn't he understand that basically he's telegraphing the rules? The more you threaten, the harder you are to police. Police will actually obey and serve you. Officer McDuff was a bloody concierge for these terrorists, and they are openly champion. Like that grotesque display was promoting a banned terrorist group. That even Hitler isn't banned in Canada. So my analogy doesn't even work because the Nazi Party is not illegal in Canada, whereas Hamas is. There was a not even pro-Hamas. There was a Hamas rally in Toronto today. And when I went to film it, I was arrested because the police basically said, if you're Muslim, pro-Hamas, you can be here. And not just any Muslim. Salman Sima, who would be a freedom-oriented Persian, he would be arrested too, and in fact was. You were arrested there 2 weeks ago. Last week we came with a dozen rebel journalists, and the cops did the math. Oh, there's a dozen of them. That'll be a hassle. Today it was just one man. But
And Ezra, if I may, I agree with you that McDuff is a concierge to Hamas. He is a coward. But at the same time, I think he's a stooge. I don't think this is organic grassroots policing from Macduff on down. I think they've been ordered. Maybe it's Demkew who's taking his orders from who knows who. What say you, my friend?
Yeah, well, I mean, remember there was that meeting, a private meeting between Justin Trudeau and the chief Demkew, and we did an access to information request, and they refused to provide any notes or any documents. What was Justin Trudeau, the prime minister, doing, telling the Toronto police chief what to do? But we know that because just yesterday, when Justin Trudeau was dancing like a teenage girl at the Taylor Swift concert, Montreal was a full-blown Gaza-style riot, and that's fine by Melanie Joly. That's fine by Justin Trudeau. They have presided over a year-long anti-Semitic crime wave. So I think it's both. I think it's woke DEI policing, but it's also from the top. And who's the top? Olivia Chow, who's just full-on anti-Semitic.
Correct.
I think that Justin Trudeau improperly interfered. And look, every politician in this country is afraid. And I know why they're afraid. Because they have let in hundreds of thousands of foreign migrants who do not believe in peace or coexistence or, our Canadian way of life. They actually support Hamas, and they show it. A real country would deport every foreign national involved with these hate crimes, would prosecute those who are actually committing crimes, and would enforce the law. So I will call Macduff a coward because he's either following orders or he's expressing his own view on policing. It was a disgrace, but I tell you, I'm going to get to know Officer Macduff a little bit better. I don't know him well right now, but we're going to sue him because my charter rights were violated today. What I mean by that is, as a citizen, I have the right to walk on a sidewalk, even if I have a camera in my hand. And I have the right to do journalism where I want to, not where the cops say, go a block away to a free speech zone. That's not how it works in Canada. And it sounds like Macduff and the crooked police chief, Myron Demkew, I think they need to be told by a judge that what they are doing isn't just morally wrong, it's illegal and unconstitutional. And I say again, look at the difference between how the rioters in Montreal and these pro-Hamas thugs in Toronto are treated versus how the peaceful truckers were treated 2.5 years ago. That's two-tier policing. If I were a pro-Hamas Muslim, I would have been allowed to stand there. I know that because all the pro-Hamas Muslims. Yeah. And I'm saying, and by the way, there are a lot of Muslims who hate Hamas. And I mentioned one of them, Salman Sima, he was arrested there too. Mm-hmm. The police aren't just pro-Muslim. They're not actually pro-Muslim if the Muslim is for freedom like Salman Sima. Police are actually blocking for Hamas. Not on my watch. And I don't have a lot of tools. I can't arrest Officer Macduff. I can't charge him with a crime, but I can take him to civil court for my charter rights, which were violated. And so I think I'm going to get to know Officer Macduff a little bit better because I'm going to sue the living daylights out of him forever.
100%. Ezra, one other factor that might be at play here. Exactly 1 week ago, last Sunday, we went down en masse. It was the Stand With David event, which was very humbling for me. We had about 14 Rebel News staffers. And the police said, if you cross the street, there will be mass arrests for breaching the peace. It was like an I'm Spartacus moment, right? Yeah, fine, we're crossing the street. And what happened? The police folded like a cheap lawn chair. I think they were humiliated. I think there might be a revenge factor here because, folks, I'm not kidding. You could see my text messages with Ezra going back to last week. We had no plans of coming back here. I said, Ezra, let's take the W, hit the showers. All this is going to amount to in the weeks ahead is 2 dueling demonstrations, people screaming at each other. The only thing that got us down here is that somebody at the demonstration says, you better get down here because bylaw is now enforcing bylaws against the pro-Israel side, but not the pro-Hamas side. So that was the only reason we were there to begin with, Ezra. Do you think, my original question, this is a vendetta because of the way the Toronto Police Service was utterly humiliated by us last week?
It could be, and we'll put that question to Officer Macduff when we compel him to testify. It wouldn't surprise me if he has marching orders from higher up, but understand this, the Toronto police force is a failure. There is the worst crime wave in Canadian history. This is the police force whose advice to homeowners is have your car keys near the door, so when your home is invaded, the robbers don't have to go into all your rooms for the keys. Make it easy for them to steal your car. That was their actual advice to Torontonians.
To prevent the possibility of being attacked in your home, leave your fobs at your front door.
They are atrocious at fighting crime, but just as much as robberies and car thefts and extortion and violent crime is going up like that, anti-Semitic crime is just straight up. It's just like it's skyrocketed because the police have sent the message, it's fine. We won't arrest you. We'll bring you Tim Hortons coffee when you block a bridge into a Jewish residential neighborhood. If any Jews protest too loudly against your calls for genocide, we'll arrest them. So the Toronto police is not fit for purpose, and I don't think they've been taken on properly. In fact, the official Jewish leadership, to their disgrace, actually had some sort of celebratory dinner for Myron Demke. He must have laughed so hard at that. Well, I'm not laughing, and I've never been arrested before in my life. I've never been in a jail cell before in my life other than visiting prisoners in jail. I am going to return what happened today tenfold on the Toronto police. And if anyone wants to help me, go to saveezra.com. Now, it looks like I'm saved from the actual jail cell, but it's not even about Save Ezra. I'm out of jail now. It's about saving our freedoms, our right to walk on the sidewalk. I was arrested for walking while being Jewish. Historically, there's been other forms of racism in society. Try hailing a cab if you're black, for example. That was a theme in the 70s and 80s, especially when there was some racism like that. I didn't expect to see racism embedded in our police institution. They're basically saying, if you are a foreign national who has come to our country to promote Hamas, you can do whatever the hell you want in a Jewish neighborhood and we'll block for you. But if you're a Jew or a righteous Muslim who's against Hamas, we will arrest you, humiliate you, handcuff you. It wasn't as bad as what happened to you, but they put the handcuffs over my watch.
Which is unnecessary.
Which is stupid. I don't know why would they think I'm gonna, there's 50 cops here. Did they think I was, so, I'm not crying, but why did they handcuff me? And foolishly, they put it over my watch. So that it was, there was no need to do that. I think that was part of their humiliation ritual, and the jeering of the Hamas crowd there, this jubilation, the ululation. It was like I was in Gaza a little bit in terms of the police serving the terrorist interest. We're going to spend some time with Officer McDuff in court, and if you want to help me do that, go to saveezra.com. We'll probably come up with a better website than that because it's not about me anymore. I'm out of jail. It's about giving this police force a proper attitude adjustment. They have to remember their job is law enforcement, not two-tier policing, not political enforcement. They're not Justin Trudeau's errand boys. I know that Myron Demke was just so excited to have a selfie with the Prime Minister. That's not his boss. I'm his boss. Every Torontonian who's disgusted by this crime wave is his boss. I'm a citizen. I'm a taxpayer. I'm not a foreign provocateur like these Hamas thugs. And this is not the end of the story for me. This is actually the beginning.
Well, folks, there you have it. Another disgraceful chapter in the recent history of the Toronto Police Service. You're looking at Canada's foremost freedom fighter. That's a title my boss Ezra has had for decades now. And by the way, that springs to mind another question, doesn't it? Where is the Canadian Association of Journalists? Where is PEN Canada? Where is the mainstream media standing in solidarity? Nope, they're sitting this one out. As Ezra said, McDuff, we're going to get to know you intimately. So in the meantime, this is going to take a lot of money, folks, and it's going to take a lot of time. Please go to our website, saveezra.com, sign the petition, make a donation. And by the way, even if you have no time for Ezra Levant, even if you hate David Menzies, even if you don't subscribe to Rebel News, there's a bigger thing at play here. This is the free speech and free expression rights for everybody, because first they come for selected targets, then they come for you. Folks, we all have skin in this game. SaveEzra.com.